Professor Odekunle, he says, well, for some of these agencies, the will to fight corruption, for instance, is there, but they lack maybe the manpower as well as the funds. You agree with that?
Well, to a reasonable extent, even the Nigerian police, of course, you know, they are grossly compromised in terms of infrastructure and all that. And it is comical because when you look at, they still pick some of these police.
How do you mean when you say compromise?
Yeah, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of working materials, some of these police people, when they move them from the Nigeria police and second them to EFCC, you find out that when they move to EFCC, you see all the gadgets you need. You see laptops, you see air-conditioned vehicles. So why are they finding it difficult to streamline the operational logistics of the Nigeria police? But over and above that, you see, if you have a leadership that is not positively tuned, that is not designed to move the nation forward, if you have the best people in EFCC, it doesn't matter. But the political leadership overshadows whatever you do in other segments. So that's just the point I'm making, that the problem we have today is political leadership and the will to deliver. There are sporadic instances of positive drive. Look at what this woman is doing in the airports. The massive renovations going on within I'm coming to that because
the EFCC not independent. When you talk about political leadership, that it must show this drive. We thought that the independence of the EFCC is so distinct in the running of this
all these organizations that are independent on paper. The political leadership determines the direction some of these agencies will go. And you find out, why is it that people are saying that they are being selective? You find out that if you fall out with the political leadership, you technically become a target. So these are the issues. As far as we believe that the political leadership determines the flow of some of these agencies. When Shagari was in power, there was no incident of people talking about this Niger Delta campaigns and the rest of them, because the leadership was so sober in terms of political administration, in terms of maturity. It was easy for him to move the nation, even though they achieved very little, but there was maximum peace. But when you now see a nation that is moving, the provocative indices are predicated on the display. And I have told you that when you have this massive and arrogant display of illegally acquired wealth, there is no other segment of criminality that it will not instigate.
Do you have any?
When you start,
do you have any example that?
No, when you start having receptions for ex-convicts, and you put it on television, and the former presidents will attend, a lot of things will snowball from that.
Give us your example, because you disagreed with the application of plea bargaining here, not the principle. Am I right?
No, plea bargaining is a perfect principle of law that has been used beautifully in other jurisdictions.
Which case is
but
it?
Grossly bastardized in Nigeria.
Which example do you have?
There are so many cases. I don't want to start mentioning names, but in fact, virtually all the governors that have been tried. If you remember,
on the plea bargain?
Yes, you remember the dialogue between the federal government and the Abacha's children. At a point, they were asked to bring so and so and retain so and so. This is common knowledge. Everybody knows that. The point I'm saying is that there shouldn't be reward for crime.
Is there a reward for crime?
People should not be rewarded.
Who is rewarding who?
That's
make
the
it sound
the society. Where does society come in? Because I was just going to ask you. You were saying something about political leadership, and we're also looking at the role of money and culture. Has culture been totally eroded by the love of money?
Well, to a reasonable extent, I will say yes. The reason is that the poverty level is quite excruciating, and you find out that when people now respond to Naira-related stimulus, and that is what is happening. These things are all fallouts of the kind of political structure and the kind of political education and political discipline we have. It is my take that if there should be any restructuring and reorganization in terms of political governance,
okay, and
fight against corruption, it must be not only be done from the top, it must be demonstrated to the glaring to the entire Nigerian public.
Do the political parties
that these things are going on in this direction, and that everybody should follow suit?
Do the political parties have any role here, and what should that be?
Well, of course, there is massive room for political education. And of course, that is not being done today. All we hear is about the National Working Committee of PDP, and that's what you keep reading in the paper. There is no intellectual difference between any of the political parties. There is no difference.
And that's what
as far as you can see, because they maintain that there is a difference.
There is no, the parties are not intellectually driven, they are not project driven. What we see here is people coming together and taking advantage of any platform they have. And once they consolidate in any particular environment, you find out that there's always a move from some other political parties to a particular political party.
Mr.
Because
Nwankwo,
everybody wants to be part of the benefit of the political system.
Mr. Nwankwo, if you were made chair of the EFCC today, or if you were asked to come up with, say, a system that will help address the corruption problem in Nigeria, where would you start from?
Well, there are very, very simple platforms that you have to start with. Why are these political gladiators find it difficult to declare their assets? There are very simple platforms. When they do some of these things and they leave government, there is nothing like statute bar when you're talking about crime. If they make some of these acquisitions, acquire some of these properties and these huge funds they are amassing, 10, 15 years after, we will still pursue them.
What we understand is that it's not like they declare their assets now with the Code of Conduct Bureau. It's not exactly made public. Are you saying that you're going to make it public or make it mandatory for it to be public?
It should be public. The chairman of National Human Rights Commission published his. I'm talking about Professor Anselm Odinkalo. There is nothing secret about asset declaration. Some of them will tell you that they have so and so trillions, creating an avenue for them to reap a windfall once they get into the political system. Some of these people have no financial pedigree once they get into the political system.
What you're doing is you're already beginning to fault what exactly might happen with that particular remedy. Now, what else would you do? You're saying
when they declare their assets,
yes,
we investigate the declaration thoroughly and publish it in the papers.
Okay.
Like these campaigns going on in the local government, everybody in Nigeria except the government, everybody knows that some of these funds that come to political, that are technically allocated to local governments, never gets to them. Everybody, we keep talking about this on a daily basis. So why are we doing things in such a funny manner? Why should funds going to the local government be routed to the state governors? There are inbuilt platforms that are designed to create a lot of hiccups.
Okay. While you were making, at the initial stage, you talked about the political parties, what they need to do. You talked about their intellectual base. But with respect to where you made some reference about the ex-convict, what can they do in that case? Where you talked about it looks as though they're rewarding crime. Maybe that's inadvertent on their part. But what would you like to see to wipe away that perception?
It boils down to the attitude of the political leadership. When such things happen, you don't put such people in the front, in the vanguard of your campaign for political upliftment of a nation.
Has anyone or has any political party been doing that lately?
Of course, there are several examples. I don't know. Of course, these things are common day occurrences in our political history. I think there must be some level of proactivity on the part of the political leadership.
Are you saying that
there must be some demonstration of vision? You see, political leadership is an art. It's like being a good footballer. Some people are better than others, and you see that being replicated in several jurisdictions in Nigeria.